Religious groups, health and government officials are butting heads in the battle against the coronavirus. Our next guest in his latest article takes a look at how states are turning neighbors into government informants. In fact, the headline reads this: "The COVID bait and snitch." There it is on your screen. Joining us now to discuss is Tony Perkins, president of Family Research Council. Always good to see you, Tony. Thanks so much for coming on. This is something I talked with my previous guest about here. She mentioned she is a strong Christian and how this pandemic has affected churches. They're one of the biggest victims of this pandemic. So many shutting them down, many parishioners angry that they see the big box stores, they're open, but houses of worship can only operate at reduced capacities, if at all. What is your viewpoint on it, and when does this stop?
Well, I think it needs to stop now, quite frankly. As this has unfolded over the last 10 months, when it initially came, when the president said, look, we got to take, 15 days to slow the spread, then it went to 30. Most churches readily complied, saying, you know what, we don't really know what this virus is all about. And so, yes, we will join in that and we will close our services. We'll go virtual. But now it's dragged on in some places to where, like California, and we're actually seeing in Maryland, where we got a Republican governor. So this is a bipartisan problem. We've got some Republican governors, like the one in Maryland, that is putting out a hotline for people to snitch. In fact, Reverend Jackman, who was in his church, Methodist Church, by himself, got a knock at the door and was cited when he answered the door for not wearing a mask when a health official said he was summoned to that place because of someone making an anonymous call saying that there was someone in the church without a mask. This is troubling, what we see happening. Now, we worked with the administration early on to get clergy recognized as essential personnel. So those jurisdictions that are saying certain activities are essential and churches and pastors are not, are actually not following the federal guidance that's out there.
It's unfortunate, it really is, and it goes back to that same conversation that we all had during the beginning of this pandemic, where a piece of the First Amendment is supported, specifically protests. Those are supported. You can gather as much as you want, and you won't be touched. But then when you get to the part about religion, it's completely trampled on, and there are a lot of upset Christians out there.
Yeah, it's an extremely relevant point, and it's actually one that Justice Gorsuch made in a recent ruling by the Supreme Court, where he called out the New York governor, where he said, while religious exercises are not held essential, the governor of New York is saying that laundry, liquor, travel, convenience stores, hardware stores are all considered essential. And this is what he says. He says that is exactly the kind of discrimination the First Amendment forbids. And so finally, we're seeing a court that's stepping in and siding with the churches in their exercise of our fundamental first freedom, and that is the freedom of religion. But here's what it's going to take. It's going to take churches, it's going to take Christians, it's going to take pastors saying, you know what, I will face the consequences for a rogue governor, rogue mayor, and I will stand up and defend these freedoms. Quite frankly, look, I know that the virus is real. I've had the virus, recovered from it. I know many people have had it. I know it's a serious issue, but defending our first freedom is fundamental to the future of this country.
Yeah, I think of guys, to your point, I think of guys like Tony Spell in Louisiana, who's been arrested multiple times because he continues to hold church service. And there's a big argument that is essential for millions of Americans. And you're also seeing this, though, religious supporters getting attacked if they support President Trump, because there is an article that takes aim at evangelicals supporting the president. The headline reads this: "White evangelicals made a deal with the devil, now what?" End quote. There are so many people out there, Tony, that are scared to even come forward in favor of President Trump because of things like that.
You're absolutely right. It's this cancel culture going crazy. But here's the thing. President Trump has defended and upheld our first freedom more than any other president that we have seen in my lifetime. He's been strong on the sanctity of human life. And then as we have seen religious freedom attacked, and this is not new. I mean, it's been happening over the last decade, but it's accelerated in the last few years with the popular culture, the media, with Hollywood, and of course, the academic realm. This president has stepped forward to defend the fundamental freedom of religion. And that's why people of faith have stood with this president, because he has stood with them.
All right, we'll leave it right there. I appreciate the time. It's great to talk to you. Hope you come back to us. Tony Perkins, good to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you.